Hello, goddesses and devotees. Welcome back to episode 2 of Devotee, the discussions. This is J.U.R.O.T, a mature model's guide to understanding, nurturing, and protecting a female goddess. Created, envisioned, written by me. My name is James Kelly. You can call me J.U.R.O.T, J.U.R.O.T. And I am the president, CEO, and CFO of SEMAJ Productions, Inc. As you know, my book, if you don't know, won the 2025 International Impact Book Award. Yeah, out of 80 entries, 8 people won the award, international competition, and this book won one of them. So we talked about chapter 1. We're going to go into episode chapter 2, female goddesses and relationships, which is very, very deep. Female, a lot of people have problems with relationships and get in them and get out of them, but one thing I have noticed and learned with female goddesses is that they have a hard time maintaining relationships, maintaining them. And but we're not just talking about relationships, intimate relationships, marital relationships, dating relationships. We're talking about just relationships with humans in general. Oftentimes goddesses have to dumb up when they're around their female friends and companions, especially when it comes to conversations regarding relationships and the sexual encounters they have with mortals, men and or women. I mean, I can tell you for a fact, once you have feasted, as I call it, with a human goddess, you ain't gonna talk about it to no one. You barely gonna want to talk about it to yourself. But that's further on down the road. We'll talk about that. Female goddesses have a different, more intense type of control over a mortal than most women. She has spiritual, mental, sexual, social control over the mortals that they encounter and deal with. When I say spiritual, they worship the goddess. They worship them, literally worship them. Mentally, their brains become mush. I mean, that's all they obsess and think about. Sexual, beat me, whip me, slap me, kick me, then tell me you love me. That kind of relationship. And social control, never want to have her out of your sight. It's very, very serious. And it can get very, very negative if not dealt with properly. Female goddesses don't deliberately try to do that, however. They don't try and control. But due to the nature of their powers, it happens. Sometimes they don't even realize this level of control occurs. As a result, it makes most relationships with male mortals difficult. My surrogate granddaughter, Sally, she goddess self, she talks about how, after a couple of days, they just get so obsessed, they metamorphosize into little monsters. They just want to control, and she doesn't understand why. And I keep trying to say, you read the book twice, She said, oh yeah, right, Papa. She's a goddess. By the time a female goddess reaches adulthood, they have been repeatedly treated abusively by mortals, at work, in relationships, neighbors, family members, and as such go into a protective warrior woman state, vowing to never again be abused or mistreated by mortals. As a result, they tend to become very self-sufficient. People say no one should live on an island and self-sufficiency is a good thing. But the level of self-sufficiency that I'm about to talk about is kind of unique to a female goddess. And if you know females who have achieved this state, and maybe you need to observe them a little harder because they might be female models. As I have always said, a female goddess is not based upon her looks, her beauty. Beauty does not determine a goddess. It's certain elements and essence of and divine essence that they have. But when we talk about sufficiency, they'll be able to take care of themselves financially. Ups or downs, ins and outs. They always want to land on their feet. Whatever career they get into, whatever job they take, they always become managerial level, administrative level, or they master whatever skill they're doing, be it medical, real estate, accounting, HR, whatever they do, they master it. They will be self-sufficient, needing little assistance from male model other than possibly sexually. Some may either enter into lesbian relationships or experience a lesbian sexual encounter, maybe once or twice. This is not because they're gay. It's because they're taking, as we would say, a man break. Some female goddesses will become celibate due to the fact that the male mortals do not know how to handle them, understand them, or enrich their lives to a level they need, want, fantasize about, and or desire. We're going to take a short break. Again, my name is J.U.R.O.T, President and CEO of SEMAJ Productions, Inc., and we're getting right on it with Chapter 2 of Devotee. We'll be right back. We'll take a short break. Oh, by the way, that's my group, Effect, and that's a little show we did at J.U.R.O.T. Hope you enjoyed that. Little song called Sugar.